All right, welcome everyone. This is a Viper Professional Training and Support webinar. Today's date is February 13th, 2017. This is a Monday night webinar, and the title of tonight's webinar is Retrace Trades and Where to Take Them. And as everyone knows that's been to our webinars or our live trading room, everything that we say and do at Viper Trading Systems is for educational purposes only. Futures trading, Forex trading, any kind of financial instruments involves risk, therefore there's always risk of loss. You should only trade discretionary capital, and that is money that you can afford to lose. Nothing said in this webinar. Other webinars we might have, our live trading room or anything else with Viper Trading Systems should never be construed as trading or investment advice. And as always, everyone does trade at their own sole discretion. Any questions on the disclaimer? All right, if not, we're going to go ahead and get started. Bear with me 1 second. And real quick, for some people that haven't been with us for very long, I'll go ahead and show how to get into the member area. Should be able to get here in just a second. Let's see if we can. Trying anyway. There we go. All right. Now, for new people that have just gotten with us, anytime you're on the member area, this is the area that not just everybody can get into. This is just strictly our members. And you've got access to us by remote support with TeamViewer, Skype support, call right here on the phone, and also email. And you can email us real easy by going to the contact page, and there's an email area for that. We always put the links for the room and the webinars up on the site. They're always updated. And right here is a couple of PDF manuals for like a quick start manual for Viper, a comprehensive trading manual. Now, when this comprehensive trading manual was made, there wasn't power meter and predictors, and there wasn't really a lot of the automatic type of lightning that we use nowadays as much. There's templates and workspaces, and there's also the different PDFs for the charts and things like that that you can look over and see exactly how to do a particular object trader type trade. And there's even an area, by the way, under members area that's new member training you can go to. And under new member training, which is right here, hopefully it'll go to it. All right, you can actually look at different things like even how to import the Viper scripts, how to build a workspace, different things that are just normal, you know, and how to use the Viper tools and also Object Trader. This is just like a new members type thing. A lot of this type of stuff, if you already know it, you don't need it, but it's in here just in case. And we're going to be updating these quite a bit here in the very near future as soon as I can get Object Trader finished, because Object Trader needs finished. Okay, so that's an area right there. But anyway, if you ever have any problems, questions, or anything like that, just be sure and call this number right here. I'm more than happy to help, and I'll show you, you know, where things are on the website or anything that you need to know. Okay, so that's for the new people. Let's go ahead and go to a chart, and old or new, I'm going to ask you a quick question. This will be a very quick question. Bear with me a second. All right. By looking at this chart right here, what is the overall direction of the chart? Everybody? Yeah, absolutely. It's up, isn't it? I know we start off webinars like this a lot, but the whole idea is you've got to stay on the right side of the trade unless you know you're going to scalp, okay? Because the worst thing you can do is be on the wrong side of a trade, and then the thing goes, you know, up quite a bit against you, and you have your stop up 12, 15, 20 ticks, whatever, and then you're starting out in a total minus. So be sure and look at, you know, what direction everything's going at the time. Okay, all of us need to do that. I myself, even if I get in a hurry and, you know, I'm talking to some people on Skype or something like that, and I get in the room and I haven't really prepared myself or my charts, it's easy to look at charts and think, wow, if they just push it this way, I'll go that direction. You know, maybe it's going up to here. Well, obviously on this chart it probably is, but what about like this chart right here, and what would the overall trend of this one be? This one wouldn't be the same, would it? See, it's a little bit of an up right here, but see where this major swing is right here? This is what you've always got to do. You got to look to the left to trade the right. Okay, this is the swing here that would take to change the direction of this overall. Okay, because that was a high and that's a much lower low, fresh high, fresh low, higher high. So it is starting to stair step up. And you could actually get some trades, you know, for instance, that come down to mid-band and then pop up to here, but keeping in mind that it's going to more than likely roll over when it hits resistance. Okay, so always stay on the right side of the chart. That's one of the most important things to do. Okay, now we're going to go to the actual chart because everybody got that right. This also tells you right here on the power meter kind of what's going on too, doesn't it? Okay, so let's go ahead and go to the chart. Thought I had a chart. Where did it go? Just a second. Yeah, right here. All right. Now this is that same deal that we did just a minute ago on the black chart, just so we could see everything on the chart. And this is where you're at right now. Now notice that if you look at like Lightning 3, to give an example, it is only going to print when a larger swing is made. You know, for instance, it doesn't know this is a low here yet because it hasn't made a high to make another number. Okay, but we know by looking at the chart though that if we draw on our charts, and I highly recommend it, that is support right under here and that is support right there, but it isn't established. This one is. Okay, this one won't actually be established until it takes out this swing over here to the left. So that's what I always personally look at. And that's why, like today in the room, for instance, we caught that Russell trade, even though we missed, some of us did. I missed the short, but did you hear me call out the support area? Because the support area is really important to get those nice trades also. Okay, so now let's look at this chart right here. And I don't trade this time of morning, so I just purposely just kind of kick the little meter up to this area here because I'm not even up at 6:37 in the morning. I'm usually up at 7 o'clock. But I do know pretty much where the trade is on this chart. Now I'm going to move the line, and I want everybody to tell me where you think that this trade, if we're going to continue up, that is going to bounce. Anybody? I'm going to start bringing it down. Okay, we got to get below the price, obviously, right? Is it going to bounce there? Is it going to bounce here? Looking to the left to trade the right, I would draw two areas on this chart, there and there. This is the closest in proximity on price to the left, and this is the closest in price that's on the right-hand side of the chart. Not right of the price here, but I always call this the left and then this the right. Look to the left to trade the right. So this would tell me that unless we get more of a retracement than like a micro retracement, that this is where we should hit our head. Okay, so in your mind, you've got to be ready for that trade. And this is the sweet spot area. I know I hear Charles say that a lot when he's talking about different areas to look for, kind of a sweet spot. Everybody see that? Because all you got to do is draw it to see it. Let me just draw it here with Lightning 2 even. Well, Lightning 2 doesn't go that high yet, so let's do it with Lightning 1. Lightning 1 starts right here, and notice that it hasn't even done any kind of pullback yet. So that's telling you right on top of that little swing right there is where Lightning is, and it busted up through it. So more than likely it's going to either test here or here. Everybody see that? Let's see, I'd look for under. Well, that's a good one too, Lee, because stealth is actually, you know, we designed stealth to be, it really looks even at how quick things move up, the actual angle, slope, that type of thing of it. And also the fact that when stealth is really going your direction, it doesn't even break stealth, but it'll come back and kiss it. So yeah, stealth would be a very good area to look on here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and we're going to get ready to take a trade, but I want y'all to tell me where to take it. Okay. And we're going to try to get a trade, and we're going to have our stop in and everything, because everybody's got to have a stop, obviously, right? So let's diagnose this just for a moment. If we got in this trade right here, to give an example, okay, our stop would actually have to be here. Everybody sees that, right? I mean, granted, that's about 13 ticks down, but that is your swing. And if you put it any higher than that, let's say that you got in here and you decided just to put your stop at mid-band. Well, you think there's not a chance that they'll probably take that mid-band out and then just truck up with your trade? Now, we don't know yet, right? But what I'm saying is if you got in this trade here, you pretty much got to trust where it broke up. Those tight stops only work on phantom type trades. Yeah, phantom type trades, where they're deep retracements, I think you can put a tighter stop. Around mid-band, this has been chopping around for quite a bit. Let's get rid of the lightning 3. We don't need it. But when this has been chopping around like this for quite a while, see this whole area right here? And it's pretty much broken out of it, hasn't it? So you don't really expect it to come down here. Matter of fact, if you're going to get a higher low, you should get a higher low, right? So you could actually put a tighter stop, but you got to be careful, because most times, those major traders with those algorithms and everything, they know where those stops are going to be. You've got to let your runners run. You got to also be careful with your stops, but keep in mind, if we got filled, say at 63, let's just say that we look for this area here, then that's down at what, 52. So that's 11 ticks. That's not that far down. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to let everybody tell me. I'll start the clock running and tell me where we should take this trade. $263, you want it? Okay. All right, you want to go ahead and do a region there then, or how do we want to do this? What says the team? Everybody sees that, right, by the lightning swing? That's why we're looking there. It's not because I just magically drew a line there. It's because of the thrust, the retrace, the thrust. They come back and they check those areas. Now, the one thing you got to be careful of is just simply buying. What I normally like to do is if it comes down there and touches that, I'll usually buy the 1, something like this, and you could be catching a falling knife too, keep in mind. But like that, see, I'd probably go ahead and buy the 1, get my target out of the way, okay? Now, if it actually bounces here and does like a little power meter, maybe we want to get into those other 3. Okay, now this is going to be something that's going to really, I think, help you out a lot when we finally get this done, is to use this little tool right here, and you'll be able to turn it on. You'll be able to turn this on right here, and this will take a trade if that meter changes. Okay, now if this goes against me, I'm probably not going to give it a lot of wiggle room, but that looks like a pretty good area to bounce at to me. It's a lightning swing. It's an identified lightning swing, and it should actually hold. Okay, we're going to just see if we can get a trade. You could do a region with the top at 263, absolutely. For instance, if it was come down lower, let's say if you did a region like Lee's talking about, like this, probably something along those lines, because I don't think it would go that low. I think it would probably go in this area right here where it hadn't tested yet. So I'd probably put the region something like that with 63 and right down about right through there. Now this isn't the way you do a region. Everybody knows that, right? But that would be like a inside long, and that would be an outside long. Okay, that it has to actually touch it and then like close above it. You can do it that way. We are going to also add the new trade that you'll actually be able to fire a nice ray on the chart, and you're going to be able to do two different ones, so you can actually make it like even a wedge if you want. Okay, we might need to speed this up just a little bit. I'll go about, hopefully 20 times isn't too fast for it. Okay, it's right back where we got in. That's usually what they do. If you're going to go higher though, what do they normally do? They'll give you a higher low. We talk about that all the time in the room. So you got a thrust, a retrace, a little thrust, but it didn't quite come up to the top, a higher low. Okay, I would probably have added one more when it kind of popped above that line, but we didn't do that, so we'll just go ahead and add it with power meter if we get it. Now, one thing about power meter, like I was saying in the room this morning, unfortunately, power meter is not going to fire until right there with the close of a bar. Okay, and that can be late. That's the one thing you're going to have to really understand about power meter, is that that can be a late trade because it's a breakout trade. See, watch and see if it doesn't fire three more if we get a close. Oh, now it's got to close the whole bar. See there? Well, we hit our target first, so we didn't get it. Everybody knows that the target was right there. So we didn't get the trade. Now let's see if we can figure out, you want to see if we can figure out where to get in again? Because you should be able to tell already where you could get back in. Let's just look and see if we can figure it out. All right, we got a lightning swing right here. We had another lightning swing right here that we should not be able to take out, at least this one for sure. That's a higher low that's established. So I would probably look to get in right in through this area right here, don't y'all think? You want to try it again with PM? We've got 105 so far. Let's see if we get a, oops, we're not going to get a PM because it's green, see that? This would have to turn red, so I'm going to fire that manually if we get a little pop up like that. See, it popped right above the line. You got to be ready for that. Okay, stop's going to be right underneath the swing like so. Okay, everybody see why I couldn't wait for that to fire? Because the power meter was already green. If the power meter is already green, it will not fire another trade. Now you could fire it on bar close still. You could fire it on a ray. You could fire it on a region. You fire it, whoa, coming down a little bit. It's all right. We're trusting our indicators, right? We know that the identified swing's right under here. Let's go ahead and get two of them out of the way, and then we'll just go ahead and take profit on two of them. Now, does anybody see another area that more than likely you're going to have another trade? Because you should be able to see it on your chart already. Okay, because the same thing that's happening right now, you notice this came down a little lower, so I would draw a couple of lines on the chart. It has not come back and kissed this. That's also a swing there. And it has not popped up and come back and kissed that. Everybody see that? So we'd be looking for what? A pullback into support. Now I'm drawing on the chart right now. You don't always necessarily have to draw on it. You just have to see it. okay? Because as long as this is doing what we call the micro trend, it is not going to come down and test a medium trend. Okay, see how micro's still stepping up? And it gets a little sloppy. You have to really learn to see it. So you got a low here, a high here. A higher low here was only established when it took out this high over here. And then, of course, it even established this low. Okay? Now, when did this low get established? Well, it got established when it took out this high right here. And, of course, even this low is now established. See that? Okay? Where do you think it's going to pull back? What do you think? Would that be a good area if I wasn't in a bunch of contracts, for instance, to add? See there? See how it came right exactly to where we'd just broken up. We just tested it. Okay? Everybody see that? Anytime you've got the micro trend, this is the way it works. Okay? Notice how you got a swing right here at 93 that technically should hold. This was right at the bell. Everybody remember this trade this morning? And of course we'll move our, gotta get the stop out of the way. I moved both of them accidentally. We'll go ahead and get the stop back under there and we'll get our target out of the way. Okay? Now, when you get in a runner like this, you don't have to take it out on a micro pullback if you don't want to. What you can do if you want to instead is keep drawing on your charts. Okay, let's go ahead. We'll leave our stop down here while I'm talking, but let's go ahead and look at the areas. Okay, you've got a high here, a low here, and it jotted up. It's trying to bounce off of 320, right? Trying to bounce off of 320. Well, guess what? I could go ahead and do a PM trade and add a couple. We'll do 2. If that meter goes green, we'll add a couple to the trade. See, now we're still holding. You notice that we're still holding our actual original trade because when they break micro, they go down here and check these medium swings like this mid-band. This should turn green right across. We'll find out if this one comes down. Otherwise, it's going to do it right here at this line. See when we get that to go green. And it should fire us a trade. Did not fire. Why did you not fire? I'm going to fire it anyway. That's one thing that I'm having my guy look at. We found out today that there's an area that it's losing the loop. That's what he's working on. All right, so we got in there. We're still good, right? Okay. And then you just simply ride the trade and watch for the lightning swings. Okay. Now, if you want to take them out on every single little pullback, you're going to be getting in and out of a lot of trades. So be careful doing that because these things can run and run and run. And as long as they respect these swings, see, like right now, we've got an identified swing, not identified yet until it takes this out, right? Over here. Remember how we stayed around 332 for almost like 30 minutes, it seemed like this morning? By the way, when that changes again green like that, you're going to actually be able to keep adding to these things if you want to. You know, like put in one contract, and then if it happens to do a power meter again, add another one. You know, which we just did that just a second ago, right? So we could have actually added that if we wanted to when it took out that little swing. Okay? Now, what if you actually just missed a trade like this, okay? Well, you've got to wait for some kind of retracement, don't you? And the way I would personally recommend it would be probably to look for those predictors. You know, because for instance, if you weren't in this trade now, aren't you chasing this trade if you jumped in right now? You know, for instance, if I just decided to buy it right there, to give an example, would it stop me out first? See what I mean? Almost. It still stayed in. I lucked out on that one, but you shouldn't take a trade like that. Okay? Because what it's doing is trying to come down and check predictor, and it just missed it a little bit. All right? But let's just say that you walked in and you weren't in a trade at all yet. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just turn off lightning. We're going to draw our little areas again, and we're going to see if we can get a trade. Let's look to the left. We're going to draw a swing there. We'll draw a little area right in through there at 32. So I'm looking for a trade just really right around 26 or so, but it depends where my predictor actually shows up. Let's see if we can get a trade and if it actually works for us. Remember, we're not chasing it. We're going to wait. We're going to see if we can get a predictor trade. Predictor will draw in real time too. Notice there's no predictor drawing, so this is still on the same thrust. We're still waiting. Still waiting. Now sometimes you're going to leave a trade, that's going to go and go. But what happens every time you've jumped into one that literally you just jumped in at the top? Like what if you would have fired a long right there? There's a predictor right there. There's a swing right there. I'd probably go ahead and buy it. See if it does it. Touch my line. Touch my line and pop back through it a little bit. Let's see if it works. That's also an identified swing. There's a little swing right up there that I'd be putting a target at. Okay. See how you got to trust the micro trend as long as the micro trend is actually working, okay? Because that is a lightning identified swing, and I just simply bought it at support. Oh, you can set your trail stops, Lee. I can go over some of that with you if you want. For instance, let's say that you wanted to set your trail stop at like line 6. I don't think I would on this particular one simply because it keeps hitting line 6. I'd probably use line 5 or lightning. Since this is out of this loop, it probably won't work, but let's just fire it off if that goes red. It'll either do it manually, and it didn't. So it's evidently out of the loop. Well, like I said, we'll get that fixed. That's something I found over the weekend. Now, what if you weren't in this trade just yet? Anybody? Anybody see on the chart? Let's look at it. Let's identify everything on the chart. All right, we have a high, a low, and a higher high, right? So I'm going to draw a line there. Let's see, I'll draw a line there. They haven't really checked it yet. That's a predictor right there too, right? So we'll leave a line right there. Oops, sorry about that. And I think you're going to find that this little tool will work out great too. Let's just fix it just real quick because I want it to fire it automatically. I'm going to show you how good this tool is. We'll go ahead and take Object Trader off, apply, and back on, so that should fix it. And I'm going to look for a PM trade, long, and we'll just let it do the thing manually. Now, if it comes down to my support, I'm going to go ahead and fire it anyway, but we're going to watch it and see how it does, and we're not in anything right now. And like I say, don't go chasing trades, because what would happen if I chase this right now? I mean, it's got, what, 3 ticks to go? So if I was to buy that right there, I mean, it could go up 30 ticks really quick, but aren't we retracement traders? We're looking for a retracement. Let's see. Is it in one contract long? Is it counting? It is counting. Just a second. I'll fix that. Bear with me a second. We'll close that position and we'll put Object Trader back on. Programmer is working on that tonight, by the way. He's at the computer as we speak. I just talked to him a little while ago. All right, we're going to look for a trade. See if we can get one. I want to show you something that's kind of neat on here too. We're going to try something different and put this in auto mode. Now you got to watch what you're doing if you put it in auto mode, because this means that every time that power meter goes red and back green, it's going to fire 2 contracts. Okay, but let's see if we can get something here. Right now we're still doing a little thrust retrace. You know you're going to get at least an ABC, so it's got to go lower than here. We got a predictor here, but it's now run out of gas. The price is past it. So it's probably going to go deeper when it does that. So we're going to look somewhere down in this area, right around mid-band. See if the predictor shows up. Can you set a trail at lightning? Well, actually, Lee, the way you can do that, it's not going to be called a trail. But let's say that you were in 2 contracts and you wanted to get out at lightning 1. You can just simply set it on PM1 for the short side, and with the right amount of contracts, it'll take you out. It's like a trail stop. Yeah, anytime you get this right here where you kind of top out, you know, you've always got to get like an ABC. Most of the time you will. Okay, here's our predictor now. Right there, and our swing is right down here. So we can't go any lower than 23.32. If we go any lower than 23.32, we don't want this trade at all. Okay, but what if we're catching a falling knife? And that's something we've all got to watch, right? We know that we can't go any lower than 32 because we've got a high, a low, and a much higher high. So that is our swing. That's what I even consider more of a secondary swing. All right, but watch the power meter and see if we can't get a trade. Now, if we get a higher low than this right here, I'm going to fire a couple, especially if it gets down to that mid-band. I love mid-band trade. But again, you could be catching a falling knife because this could blow through 32 and just keep on trucking down. And nobody knows whether it will or not. That's mid-band right there. I'm going to go ahead and buy 2. Okay. Now, let's go ahead, though, and see if we can add 2 to this if we get a lightning swing. Now, with this straight down like this, we don't have lightning, do we? Now, we've had a bar down, we've had a bar up, so this should be, hopefully, our lightning here in a minute if we don't take out this low here. See, because it's got to get a little low, a little higher low, and then break the swing. And it could be a micro swing. That's the way PM1 is designed. See if we can get something here. PM1 is set for auto on long enabled. Now, you would think you would be able to put your stop right under here. You don't have to take it all the way down these 12 ticks, because if it takes this out right here, we're not heading up anymore. So I'm going to put an exit on close and trust that. That's my lightning swing. Everybody see how to make these nice retracement trades just drawn on your charts? We do this in the room every single day on drawing on these charts. Now that's probably going to be your lightning bar if it goes down. It's got to close down. Hadn't closed down yet. No lightning bar yet. If it closes down, we'll get, see right now you got 3 bars in a row up, but the third bar is having trouble, so we'll see if it closes down. It closed down. Now where does everybody think that your lightning swing is going to be on this? Let's say that you were just getting in a trade. I'm going to go ahead and close this out. All right. Let's just say you're just getting in a trade. Now you already missed this one here. You didn't catch a falling knife. If this takes out that swing with a close of a bar, it should fire the one contract. We'll go ahead and go with 3 or 4. But keep in mind when they break out, what do they do? Normally, what do they do? If it closes above here, above this line, which it's trying to, for some reason we still didn't fire. I'm firing it anyway. And like I said, we will get that fixed. All right, if you were just getting in this trade for the first time, you could actually put your stop here, but keep in mind that if they don't close above this a little bit, that's a little too tight. You might want to put it here. But if you're not trusting it, you could always do something like that and do exit on close. Not sure exactly why. On Market Replay, it definitely does it more, but he's got to find that. Believe me, he's looking. And Object Trader's pretty well set up. Even I can read quite a bit of the code in it because it's in sections. You know, so he's just got to work on a particular section to make sure that, you know, it doesn't go into some kind of a loop. But everybody see why I took that trade there? I don't have to have a power meter trader. We're adding it to the arsenal so it'll take it automatically. But everybody sees where that trade was, right? Because you had a low, a high, and a higher low, and it is stair-stepping the other direction now. Now notice when they take out what we call micro swings, what do they normally do? Just like we teach about all the time in the room. See how this is taking out micros and everything? So what do? They come down and check medium. What they end up doing, they gave you a higher low. See there? Anytime they give you a higher low than this, what I call the medium swing, you're going to still head up. Now when they start kissing this area right here and then pulling up and then pulling back and then pulling up and then pulling back, they're going to break it. But as long as that low stays higher than this low over here, we should still head up. Let's see if we do. Now this was after we closed the room here, so let's find out. Notice that your power meter 1 is green, but your power meter 2 is not. You could always, if you wanted a trade, you could always turn on power meter 2 instead and go for that long. Which evidently when I flip that over is when that fired. So like I say, he's looking into that. We'll figure it out. All right, this is actually breaking our little swing. Your stop still needs to be under here. That's your lightning swing. Everybody sees it, right? Like that at least. This is not established yet until it takes out right here. And it did with a wick, but not with a close. Definitely a good way to trade though. Just learn to look to the left to trade the right. Your retracements are going to be either micro type retracements or they're going to be medium. If they break medium, then they're changing trends. Doesn't mean you have to take a breakout trade if they do that. You simply want to scalp, until you see the full direction of the trend. Because as long as you've got like a blue band in the middle or a green band in the middle or even yellow, you're really looking more for longs. This looks like this is pretty good, doesn't it? Now, after what I've taught here, let's say that you simply were closed out. Anybody see the next trade on this chart? Let's look and see if we can figure it out. I'm going to draw the lightning. All right, lightning's got to swing right across here. And you've got one right there. Now, for some reason, I'm not firing even now. When it gets out of that loop, that's what it does. I'm gonna fix this just real quick. Definitely came right where I said it would. See if it'll let us fire. I'll just fire it right here anyway. Yeah, I think it'll do the PM again now that I started it over. Let's see what this does. Does everybody see why I fired that there? And I trust it there. And I would probably put my stop just like right under here even. So your high, your low, your higher high, higher low, higher high. Still hadn't established this swing, but it has established this one or this one. I find that it's usually just near stealth on a trend that's established. I think so too, Lee, on your question. Stealth is a really good way to tell. See, for instance, did you notice that stealth wasn't even printing over here? It just started printing here. That's because there just wasn't enough action going on here. And when it pulls back into these stealths, like on these breakouts, they are good entries. I got a 10 tick stop. Well, I could easily go higher now. See your high, your low, your higher high. I'd probably go to this one instead. That way, it's a little more secondary. See how they're coming down to test. Coming down to test. We'll see if it holds. It's holding. Now, everybody remember the rule of thumb. If you break micro, what's the rule of thumb? You're going to more than likely go down and check a medium swing. You don't want to catch a falling knife. Okay? You want to, most of the time, look for the stair-stepping to quit stair-stepping down if you happen to break micro and to start going in an upward motion again, right? And preferably even around a predictor. Okay? Now, let me ask a quick question for anybody. If we're doing the same thing again, look how this came and tested right there. Here in a minute, it's going to come and test right there. Watch and see if they don't pop up and then pull back and test that 61. I bet they do. Just more than likely will. Let's let it pop up first. See, because it's already tested here, right here. See that little pull down? So where's your next area to test? Well, it'd be 59 or even this 60. And where would our stop be? Let's say we weren't even in a trade. And we wanted to go ahead and get in a trade. All right, we're testing this 60 area right now. I'd probably take a chance with one. Put my stop just under here, although it's not established yet. This is actually your established swing right here. That's an 11 tick stop though, so we could lose $55 pretty easily. Let's see if it bounces. Checking support again. Held. It wicked it, see it? So you're still okay. But didn't it say just a minute ago that more than likely though, it'll pop up and it'll come back and test this? Let's see if it does that even. See if it pops up first and then comes back and kisses it. It may have already kissed it because it looks like it wicked that one. But if not, we'll find another one. Anybody see another one? Just the way we've been teaching it for the last 45 minutes or so. There's one here. There's one here that needs a little bit more pop-up, but it doesn't necessarily have to pop up more. See, it's just testing support. See there? See there? Just tested that line I just had drawn. That's the way they do. They're checking either micro or they're checking medium swings. And when they pop up like it did just then, I'll bet you more than likely we're gonna run into a little headwind. We'll find out here. Where's our swing on this chart right now? I'll draw the lines. You got a top there and you got a swing right there. That's identified. Lightning 1, that is. See if it holds on a pullback. Should. See how it came right into stealth again? Really close to stealth anyway. Pretty good little move, huh? Now, rule of thumb is if they break micro, and let's look and see where our micro is. We're not at micro yet. As soon as that closes up, yeah, there's your micro swing at 73. Everybody see that? And you got a micro right up here at 78. Everybody see that? So if it breaks one of those, we should probably go down to mid-band or even lower. Okay, now we're flat. Where's our next trade on this chart again? Well, you really don't want to go any lower than 73, right? Because you've got a high here, a low here, and much higher high up here. You got little micro swings, right? If it even breaks this 81, you're going to change that meter to red. Still heading up so far, though. But if you've missed a trade like this, what's the rule of thumb that you got to do? You got to wait for a pullback. And when it's thrust up this much, I wouldn't be looking for just a micro. I'd be waiting for a medium. By the way, once this line 6 does start holding, see how it held all the way through here, here, and now it's not holding? Your micro swing is right here at 81. Doesn't mean it's ready to change trends. If it takes out 81, that will just mean that it's taking out micro support. Hasn't done it yet. This thing may still go up, but we're going to wait for it to pull back. See if we can get something. So medium is at 373. Well, actually, Patrick, on your question, this is what I call more of a secondary swing because it doesn't have a number. See these numbers here and here? But the reason for that is because this is such a strong trend. These particular numbers here are done more when you get this type of stuff right here. It's actually looking for 15, basically a 15 swing strength. Seeing right now you've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and it's finally breaking micro, isn't it? Now, it doesn't mean we have to short it there, though, right? Okay. But if you did, you would have already been short right under there if you were using this thing. Okay. Now, what's the rule of thumb? We don't want to catch a falling knife, right? Patrick, you're saying the title screen is on? Is anybody else seeing the title screen? I'm just showing the chart. You might log out and back in, Patrick. No, nobody else is seeing that. Okay. Just the chart. Okay, so well, we just missed a little quick trade right off of predictor, right? Just missed a little quick trade off predictor, which we could have gotten and gotten a few ticks. But we missed it. So what are we doing? We're waiting for the retracement to finish. Right now, you can clearly see that lightning 1 and 2 are red. Okay, this is telling you that if you draw your lightning up here, for this to ever head back up right at this moment anyway, That's the lightning swing. If it takes out this low here, this will be your new lightning swing, but not yet. It hadn't taken it out. Right now, your lightning swing is right there at 89. And by the way, if it kissed 89 and rolled over, that's even probably a decent little area to look for profit if we happen to get, see where the lightning swing is? We're drawing it in real time. See if we can get this thing down further, and we'll see if we can get a trade. It's got to go at least under our swing. There's resistance. Took out resistance a little bit. Okay, so you have a high, a low, a lower high, lower low. Technically the same high because it just wicked it. I've got it running about 50 times now. Let's see if we can get a trade. Remember, we're looking at least for mid-band when it breaks micro. See how every one of these was stair-stepping up, stair-stepping up, stair-stepping up until it started breaking these micro swings? Now, usually if they're doing this type of stuff like this, I'll usually do something like this. If they touch that line, I'll just try to get like 5 ticks. And if it, well, missed it. It's too quick. Wanted it to hit 73. Now you don't want it. Still stair-stepping down so far. See, I wanted the first bounce off that predictor, but I missed it. Okay, we're going a little bit lower. So where's your swing that would make the difference of whether this heads up or not? Right now, anyway. Right here and also right here. This is your second power lightning, power meter 2, and this is your lightning 1. Okay, we're still heading down so far. But we're still looking for a long, right? Everybody knows that. But we got to start stair-stepping again first. Also look at your chart. Let's see how many thrusts and retraces we've had. A bunch. Whoa, a bunch. Okay, so we can assume this was down, hopefully. So we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Wow. Yeah, that's a bunch of thrusts and retraces. Trend is still up though, isn't it? See if we can not catch a falling knife. We may not get another trade. We'll find out here in just a minute. It may be over. It did run up a lot today, didn't it, Lee? I would probably just go for a scalp if they happen to break that swinger. See how you got a higher low just then? Not yet. It's got to take out that little micro swing. Power meter would do this automatically. So we're still stair-stepping down so far, aren't we? Hopefully I downloaded enough data. I'm getting real close to the end, it looks like. All right, so our swing is right here at 378. There, it just went right there, but we just missed it. I'll go ahead and buy it for a quick 10, see if we can get 10. And it looks like we did. Felt a little heat on that one. It kind of double bottomed, didn't it? But did you notice that it broke that little swing? You know, when it kind of did, basically it kind of popped up, did the green. I guess it must turn green over here because I saw it out of my corner of my eye. So I just fired it manually, and we got us a decent little trade. Now, if you look at this chart right now, because this looks like the end of the day, so we're done, we've got to look. We got a swing over here, right? We got a higher low here than down here, right? That's our medium swing. If you draw lightning 3, you'll see it. Basically had a high, a low, same high, higher low, higher high, higher low so far, right? Okay, but this low is not established until it takes out this high. Everybody see that? So we're already flat, so we just got 5 and 10 ticks. So we're looking for another trade, aren't we? And where would that trade be, everyone? Anybody see it? Right on top of that swing. Didn't it break out above it? It should come back and kiss it. I think I ran out of data, so yeah. You want to see if it did? I've got it on replay right now, but it wouldn't take a second to put it on real data. You want to see if I draw my line there, if we get a little popper trade? I'll leave the line right there, and I'll turn off market replay. Watch it tank instead. We'll find out here. All right, we turned it off, and I'm going to turn on the regular data and let it go ahead and load the chart. It'll take a minute because I got like 5 charts to load. Hopefully my line stays intact. Still loading. Still loading. There, it's loaded. All right. Notice how we bounced right off that swing, and it got 5 ticks anyway. Your stop would have been right under here, and that's the end of the day. You wouldn't have taken that trade anyway, right? But everybody see where it kind of came down, popped right back up? They come right into these areas where you think they're going to. You just got to draw on your charts. Can't see the chart? Sorry about that. I hit turn the pause off. See where we had the line drawn? It came down further and it popped up through it. Now you wouldn't have waited for the bar to close, obviously. You would have probably gotten in at the predictor, maybe added one, and it looks like it came up a few ticks, and then this is the end of the day. So what we're looking for later on, we've got a low here, we got a high here, which is not as high as this high, and this is more than likely pretty much where they're going to ping around him for a while. So we'd be looking for trades. Let's see, we had a bounce off of this 59, so we'd probably be looking for one off of this one here. Looking to the left, trade the right. You got another one here, which it seems to be holding right now. And for instance, if this was to open in the morning with this exact chart, we'd be looking to box this in, wouldn't we? So we'd probably be looking for a little box like something like this. I'd probably be looking to the left to trade the right. There's like a little area right here. If it broke up anywhere above there, I'd probably put a stop right under here, because this is right at mid-band, and more than likely it's still going to head up. But if it was to actually break this, then you'd probably be looking for a target down in here. And if they change directions, of course, they're going to take out 1360, and you'd be looking for a trade like this, you know, where it breaks down a little bit and comes back and kisses it. You could also look for a trade that even breaks here and comes back. And it wouldn't break down that far, obviously, so we'll bring it more like this, break down more like that, come back and kiss, like so, and then roll over. Because when you're under the mid-band, you can look for shorts, but keep in mind that this also could break up, so you'd be looking for like a little break like this. See that trend line right through there? So if it breaks that trend line, it'll probably head up and check that. So we're going to have those tools, by the way, very shortly, that you're going to be able to do this on your chart with raise. Long above, short below. And you'll be able to tell it how many ticks you want it to do too. And it'll shade in the little area, because, you know, who knows, maybe it's a larger one. But see how that's pretty much the wedge that it's at right now? We're going to call that the wedge trade. When it's just a ray, you'll just have to assume it's a ray. But when you've got it triangled like this, it's going to be a wedge trade. And obviously, you'd want to be careful with this trade because you'd really want the thrust down, the pullback, and a rollover, and hopefully a red background, because this is still blue. So you're really thinking more that it's going to go up, not down. But you've diagnosed your chart and you know you're looking for either this thrust, pullback, kiss, and roll, or this break and head on up and check these highs. Okay? Let's see, still like to have audio alerts to put a price on horizontal line to catch moves when they break from a range. David, I could talk to him. Right now he's got 3 things that he's working on for us, but just keep reminding me of that, and I'm going to actually write it down on a little tablet also, and we'll try to get some of that also done. Yeah, because I mean he's pretty much at my beck and call. I'm probably one of the ones that uses him the most, I'm sure, because he gives me very good preference on time and everything. He does write for other people too, but I have noticed that pretty much when I ask him to do something, he gets right on it. We're even good friends. Never met him, just online. But he'll be working on getting that little problem fixed where it somehow gets out of a loop, and he's looking at the code to find out why. And once we get the ray trade finished, this will get released. But in the meantime, keep in mind, though, that you can just watch that power meter and make the exact same trade. Okay? And also keep in mind that if they do come down to an area that, you know, you're looking at 3 types of trends on your chart. If it's heading up on the micro side, you can trust the micro pullbacks. If it's breaking and doing more around the mid-band and stuff like that, then you've broken micro and you're looking more at these medium. And if they break medium, they're going to go down and check, you know, the larger swings. To give an example, if YM was to actually break down in the morning, you know, this being not even established from over here on our longer term swing, I'd be looking for a higher low than this one to probably head back up or test this somewhere in this area, simply because you got a high here, a low here, and a much higher high here, and now you've got an A, B, they may do a C, possibly a phantom trade set up, and we'll be looking for a power meter type trade to take if we can go ahead and get these. Now, it doesn't mean you can't short this and get some of these moves. Like if this breaks down and this starts tipping downward, the mid-band, then you're going to start breaking down, pulling back and kissing, and you're doing just the opposite of this. Okay? And we'll do it in the morning. Tomorrow is Tuesday. So we'll trade in the morning again. Thanks everyone for coming. I hope you enjoyed it. And I did get Charles's webinar posted from Thursday. He had just forgotten to upload it. But once he uploaded, I posted it. All right. And by the way, if anybody has any ideas, we're always open for them, because, you know, the whole idea of looking at these charts each and every day, I want them the easiest things in the world to trade. And the more we can get it that way without cluttering the charts, you know, the more I'm open for any suggestions. I think you'll like this little power meter trade once we get it, and also this new ray trade. Right now, you've just got a single ray. You can't actually put 2 of them on a chart, but very shortly, you're going to be able to do this exact thing right here. And, you know, for instance, you might not want to just take it if it breaks this one. If you see it touch those tops like that, you might move it over a little bit. Maybe move this one down a little bit. That way you don't just get wicked into it, but it's still the same angles. Okay? All right. Thanks, everyone, and we'll see you in the morning. All right, Brent, we'll more than likely do that. If you'd like it to maybe do like an alert of some kind, if you move your line, for instance, yeah, that'd be real easy to do. Okay, everybody have a great evening. Thanks. Gonna go watch Kevin Can Wait. Hilarious comedy. All right, good night, everyone.